Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of Do Ghosts Be Real. I'm your host, Brett. The thing about it is, McDonald, that's Simon over there, and that is Spencer. And today we have a fun one. We are talking about our home province of Saskatchewan. We're talking about ghost stories throughout the province, so stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun.
As it turns out, ghosts in Saskatchewan do be real.
Oh yeah, they're plentiful. The highest degree of plentiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of them actually.
Man. We're gonna touch on a bunch today. Like, this is gonna be a total scattershot of an episode, and honestly, like, we're almost gonna have to focus to some degree on some of them because we have such an absolute stack of an absolute unit.
Yeah,
like we have for the audio listeners. I just held up a dossier. Like,
you can probably hear him flapping his papers.
This is a government document at this point.
I mean, 100%.
Maybe not as accurate, but it is as girthy as the government document.
I would say it's about as accurate as a government document.
We're gonna absolutely, like, for the video folk, the people watching on YouTube and the people watching on Shaw, 100%. We're just gonna look like 3 6th graders presenting some sort of a fucking book report. I hope not. I hope we're better than that. But who's to say, really?
I mean, I honestly, we're gonna look like idiots, but
hey,
we always look like idiots.
I was gonna say that's just
like, what's the difference?
That's just my everyday. So
Yeah.
Before we dive into our lovely and spooky province, let's get the fucking shout outs out of the way.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah, dude.
First and foremost, I want to say, I want to give a shout out to Eric the Cable Casanova at Shaw Spotlight for continuing to put up with us. Today I want to give a shout out to your pal. What is it? XOXO Katniss.
Yes.
XOXO KATNYS on Twitch and Instagram.
Twitch and Instagram. Yeah.
All right, and who's that exactly?
So that's one of my.
Let's hear it.
That's one of my streaming pals that I've known for about 4 years now. She had me on a bit of a talk show today talking about streaming and podcasts and stuff like that. So, I was given a chance to plug the podcast, and we very much appreciate that. Any source we can to
bump it up,
to bump it up, we'll take it. I mean, I jumped on there and made a fool of myself for about 2 hours.
I gotta say, I was a big fan of the fact that I learned a new nickname for you today. You're now Breddy.
Oh yeah,
everyone is now officially calling you Breddy forever.
Dude. It's
so thank you for that, Katniss. I love that.
Yeah, it came from originally Shay. Do you remember Shay from high school?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, came
elementary
from her.
school.
Yeah, came from her. And then
I don't know if you remember
Katniss
Shay.
adopted.
If you don't remember, she
I
went
do.
To
She's one of my
school.
closest friends. She just had a kid. Shout out. I hope you're doing well. You're a mom. Congratulations. That's exciting.
Very nice. Very nice. I also wanted to say a shout out to Ando, our dear boy with the Atlas painting. I really want to at some point, but somebody's watching these things back. He's not sponsored us, and I doubt he ever would do something like that, but I just want one time for somebody to, like, call him up and be like, oh yeah, like, I heard about, your company on this ghost show, so I've got a new tagline for him. Quality that lasts and prices that won't haunt your wallet.
Oh my God.
Man, that's too good. He better use it.
Yeah, he better use that.
Give Andrew Tammet at Atlas Painting a call at 306-370-1764.
I hope he gets business from that.
He better.
I really want to say that we're sponsored by a painting company. That's just fantastic.
That would be cool.
We're unofficially sponsored by a painting company.
There's no sort of, like, that's actually not even true. I was going to say there's been no goods transfer, but he continuously gives us haunted books from
he does.
His trolling through the aisles at the thrift stores. And he gave us a Haunted Saskatchewan book by something Christensen. And of course I don't have it with me because why would I? It's definitely up on the table where I finished reading it. But in any case, I read about a few stories in there today that were nice, and also shout out to old Zach Tennant at Formatted to Fit podcast, who had Breddy on here to have a spirited discussion about Clerks this week. So go follow him and check that out.
You know what?
Cool.
There is a little bit of profanity, so if you're not cool with that, why are you listening to us in the first place?
What are you doing?
But,
there we go.
We had a fun conversation about the movie Clerks and just Kevin Smith as a director in a whole. So please, please, please check it out. I think you'll enjoy it.
36 dicks?
37 in a row?
We talked about that.
Was it 37?
It's 37.
Yeah.
Fuck, I thought it was 36,
Man,
and then
so
he was
close.
at 37.
You were one short.
Shit.
You're all good, though.
Man,
He was
I'm
the
always
37th.
one. I'm always one. That's what I meant. Yeah, I thought it was.
Oh,
yeah.
he was the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. No, your
Yeah.
quote was legit, but he
Yeah.
does say 37 in a row.
Yeah.
So I'm showing my ass a little bit. It's been a minute since I watched Clerks.
I like how that guy.
That's because
follows
Brett's
her
had my copy of Clerks for the past decade.
I literally have. It's in my room.
It's been
currently.
over a decade, but I
Yeah.
also have had his three pack of the Beverly Hills Cop movies, and you know what? I'm comfortable with this trade.
Yeah.
This unofficial
It's a
trade.
good trade, to be
okay.
fair.
It's a fine trade. I think I got the better end of the deal.
Yep, you had my original Xbox controllers for a very long time. I
I
don't know
did.
if I got anything in return for that, but
No.
I got them back. So
No,
it's
you
all
most
good.
certainly did not.
That's okay.
You got my never-ending friendship and
There you go.
scorn about your love for spending money on very, very, very expensive vehicles.
You know what? I may have earned that one.
Here I go again, making personal attacks.
I think
Pull
I.
it in a little bit. Yeah. Deep
Like
throat
that?
the mic.
You want-
Deep throat the mic a little bit.
Yeah.
You're a little far away
Like
from
that?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I don't know. I think I got the better end of that deal. I'm happy with your friendship. That's
I'm
all.
happy with
that's
your
all I
friendship
need.
too, dude.
That's all I need.
I think it goes to show that we're all three pals that enjoy each other's company.
Speaking of enjoying each other's company, Brett, you get your dick out on that show you were on today?
No, I didn't. It was
Aw.
on Twitch. I mean, it was a mature stream, but
He's trying to get everyone banned.
yeah. I really showed my ass because I showed up in this exact same shirt and everything.
But
They're
yeah,
like,
he had his
the muscle
cute
guy
spaghetti.
comes on. I'm
So
like,
that's where all our new female viewers came from.
no.
Yeah,
I guarantee that's
Brett
not
pops
the case.
on with his fucking spaghetti straps and flexes for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just a show monkey at this point. They just bring me on to flex and make an ass of myself.
Oh man! Well,
that's
fantastic. This has been one hell of an intro. I was also noting too tonight we're drinking. Brett decided not to be a grown up tonight, and he's having a soda.
I'm having a nice soda.
But me and my dear boy Simon here, we're
Cheers.
both having some golden. I'll cheers you too. We're having some Golden Pheasant Slovakian beer. Now, if we were really thinking, we probably would have had some sort of Saskatchewan beer because we have a real plethora of those.
We're not smart enough for that.
But
we don't think ahead.
We don't.
We're just a
plan.
wild card is what it is. Sometimes we release on Tuesdays, sometimes we sure don't. And sometimes we
Yeah.
release on a Saturday and then immediately after it again on a Tuesday.
Yeah, immediately get stressed out because old Bretty boy wants to stick to a schedule and is spazzing in the
Hey,
group chat.
No, I respect it.
Yeah, the schedule is a good idea. I'm just not organized enough to make it
Oh
happen all
no,
the
my
time.
life is anarchy. You'd think
Matt,
my
what are you
life-
talking about?
My
Your
life
life
got
is anarchy.
less busy without a job. No. I am busier than ever.
Hey, that's good though. It
I
means
got a
you're
lot
doing
of things
shit.
going on.
Jacking off, jacking off, and jacking off.
No, not quite, but close.
There's a full masturbation schedule.
You gotta make some time to love yourself, guys.
Just you've been giving up many years of no self love, and now you're just locked in the goon cave
Hey,
for
you
a
got-
month to make
Hey,
up for it.
you got to learn to love yourself before you can love someone else.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
this
man.
this won't make it to Shaw.
We're getting spicy already. I like it.
Oh,
I like
man.
it. It's fun.
It's good.
In any case, folks, should we get into some spooky spots in
Yeah,
Saskatchewan?
Let's do it.
Where do we want to hit first? Do we want to?
I think we should start close to home.
Yeah,
in
for sure.
Saskatoon. Because there's a lot of various Saskatoon stories.
There are.
Maybe we could start at the university because it seems like there is.
Yeah, it seems like there's
lot.
quite
A
the.
lot.
I don't think we need to hit all of it, but I think we
Yeah.
should.
No,
we should definitely
we'll-
hit some of it. Also, before we get any further, the one shout out that I missed that really deserves a shout out is once again, Kira. Thank you so much for doing doing a pile of notes for us. I added some stuff on, but largely. These ones are very much her notes.
Oh,
so
very,
and all
very
three
much
of us
so.
have the DOS, and then I've
Yeah.
got my red text on here, and amongst her black text.
Yeah, we
to,
really didn't need to add very
differentiate.
much. We
No, we were flying by the seat of our pants again, and thanks again
Man.
for coming in and
Guys, this
coming
is
in
every
clutch
episode.
with the
we
notes.
just we just fly, baby.
This is just
That's
how
the
we-
way we roll.
this is how we do.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about some of the buildings there.
All right.
So the one I thought was interesting was the Thorbergur building, which I'm sure you guys have heard of.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
I didn't realize that Mr. Thorbergur Thorbergur.
Yeah,
what a name.
Icelandic Canadian.
Wow.
I don't know if he's a chemist, but whatever he did anyway, he did a lot of work with concrete.
He is in fact
Yeah,
a chemist.
He was a chemist.
Right.
But
Man.
what a name! Holy shit.
Imagine being a scientist
Thorbergur.
just for concrete. Like, oh man.
Yeah, that'd
Man,
be-
he seemed to like it because there's the one big thing that's flying around about him is the myth about where he's buried.
Yeah, apparently, supposedly, anyways, he was buried in a large concrete block at the front of the building.
I'm pretty sure that breaks all the city codes for where you can bury a body.
I don't know if that's illegal or real, but
as fun as that,
I choose to believe.
As fun as that myth is, I'm gonna come down like Thorvaldson's hammer and ruin this one. Apparently, according to the USask site on Facebook, these rumors have been exaggerated greatly, and his body is interred at Woodlawn Cemetery.
Okay,
But apparently his ghost, his spectral being, still walks the halls of the Thorvaldson building.
He's mad that he's not buried there.
Yeah,
where he wanted to be.
He wants to be near his concrete, I guess.
There was some stuff about that he may have felt unfulfilled because he'd somehow or another synthesized a concrete that didn't erode like regular concrete. And he didn't get a patent or something like that. That might also be nonsense, but hey, we're talking ghosts, baby.
Yeah.
So don't check the facts.
Yeah.
Just love it. He's buried in the block.
Just listen to our sultry voices as we talk about
Man,
these ghosts.
I wouldn't call my voice sultry.
It's
I don't know
something.
what it is, but sultry is not it.
You guys want to take one?
Yeah, sure. I'll talk about Saskatchewan Hall.
Sure.
Man, I hope you're just reading this off.
Oh, I totally am. No. Apparently, there's like a spectral being that's like very pale, almost chalky ghost white that roams through the buildings and watches students sleep and is just in their dorms and then as soon as it's spotted, it allegedly disappears and
This ghost got the right idea, just watching a bunch of
just watching
young
some
university
hot
students.
young university students.
So it's
Yeah.
like
Preferably guys.
it's like I love that. I love that for the chalky shadow man.
The chalky shadow man only likes the men.
Would
just
you
gay as
not
hell.
think that it's kind of fitting that at an institute of higher learning that a shadow figure would be chalky also? How about that?
yeah.
That's
I did
fun.
not. Yeah, I didn't catch the irony on that, but
Yeah.
that's very, very funny.
I don't know if that's irony, but it's
You
something.
got hit with some erasers or something.
Oh man, I hate when I hit it with damn erasers. There's only been one time in my life
Yeah,
I've had erasers chucked at my head.
Oh, I mean, maybe it was just who I hung out with in high school, but we would have eraser fights. We would have those like huge ones that were like a foot long, and we would just whip them. At
Those
each
were
other.
wild. They were like
Yeah.
made of
Like-
like the weirdest
It's
foam.
like a weird foam.
Are you guys talking? You guys are talking like whiteboards?
Chalk- no,
right?
no,
no,
dude,
no,
chalk.
like
You're
a
talking
chalkboard.
chalk.
We're talking
Yeah.
chalk. Do you
Yeah.
remember? Do you remember at our esteemed alma mater, John Lake Elementary School? We did have chalkboards
Yeah, we
throughout
did.
the majority of that school. I don't think they got whiteboards until probably the bitter end, and we weren't
Way
really
after,
kicking
yeah.
around a
Yeah,
whole lot in those
no.
classes. But I remember. Do you guys ever remember like a chalk? There was like a machine that vibrated and vacuumed it. Like you
Yeah,
put it
yeah.
would, like you put it over top and go. Brrr.
I went to Hanley. We were.
That's
poor.
got to be an absolute fucking nightmare for the audio listeners. Well, for anybody.
We didn't have such luxuries in Hanley. We were poor.
Man, I
You had
wouldn't
to
call
bang 'em
anything
out.
at John
You had
Lake
to-
luxury either.
Oh no, it was like skimp central.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was Skimp City, baby.
As soon as we left and the former principal left, right?
Yeah.
They got every room got a plasma TV in it
Of course
for the
they
kids
did.
to learn.
Of course they did. At Hanley, they got a smart board the year we left.
Right?
Of course.
Of course.
It's
Yeah.
some junk.
Although, yeah, that was.
Why can't we have nice things?
Right? Although I don't know if I call the smart board nice. It was pretty junky, if I'm being
dude.
honest. They didn't
Yeah,
work
there,
very
there
well.
was one in our high school, and it was just
they're pretty trash.
Just
yeah.
2010 smart technology was not
yeah.
the best.
Yeah,
of
like
times.
the marker that has like tremendous the latency on it. It's so brutal.
Yeah,
It doesn't like go where you put it. Or
and they
anything
didn't
like
teach anyone how to use it, so nobody really used it properly.
Love
And,
that.
like, yeah.
Those
Love
are
that.
so funny.
Yeah,
they
oh my
mostly just got used as a big TV.
I
Yeah.
swear to God, half the people who wanted to use a smart board were part of higher learning, if you catch my drift. Like,
I had some teachers
I
like
had
that.
one history teacher. I'd swear the man was insane. He'd spend the entire class, like he'd teach history, but then like midway through the class when we were like doing an assignment, he'd have his finger on the board, scrolling it down and up, just going whoop.
Oh, I remember him.
Mr. May.
Yeah, he was a madman.
He was a
God loved-
madman.
God
I
loved
love
that
that.
king. He was wild.
I'm pretty sure I got like a 90 in his class.
I
loved
definitely
him.
almost failed his class, and that was like one of the worst marks I got in high school. In grade 9, I really shat the bed.
Wow.
First semester, I came out like I did very well in my final years, but in grade 9, I got a talking to at the parent-teacher interview
There you go.
about my performance. It was just that I really didn't like to hand work in.
Yeah.
So that was a problem, apparently.
I was a lazy boy in high school. All I wanted to do was play RuneScape
Man, I
I was
respect
so
that.
I was so cool.
Has anything changed?
No.
Yeah, it's,
No.
we're about at the same. Like, I don't know. I was good in grade 9, and then it just proceeded to get worse.
Hey, the only thing that's changed is that now I don't have XP waste, and I got 99 defense. Baby.
Oh, there you go, baby.
Oh man, that's a very specific reference I don't get. But getting
okay.
back into ghosts, I was thinking about why don't we hit one more building at the university? Like the university club
Sure.
apparently also has some sort of dark apparition that goes around there and likes to fiddle with electronics and specifically likes to put hip hop music on radios and
got a
MP3
rapping
players and all
ghost.
that sort of stuff.
I like this ghost.
So not
cool.
a whole heck of a lot of extra info on this one, but this is a hip hop apparition.
Yep.
So
I approve.
that's kind of neat.
There's one more I want to talk about.
For sure.
All right,
That
hit
was
us with
pretty
it,
cool.
dude.
Let's hit it.
I think the most famous person you'd ever meet in Saskatoon is probably dead. Apparently, the ghost of former Prime Minister John G. Diefenbaker haunts the halls of. Well, he's buried on campus, supposedly. I don't know if that's real.
Another most
I don't-
likely a rumor.
I don't know if that's real. But
I think that
apparently,
might actually be real.
Apparently, he haunts the Diefenbaker Canada Center, which makes sense. You know,
I mean, it
it's the Diefenbaker
tracks.
Center,
It tracks.
So I don't know if that's
what
real
a
or not.
weird thing to request. I want to be buried on the campus.
Yeah, in Saskatchewan,
Of all places, why here?
Was he from Saskatchewan?
Who's to say?
Oh, God.
I'm far too dumb.
We
to
are-
tell.
I love how we'll go super deep into the history on all kinds of stuff and like omit a bunch of ghost stuff, but like we never really know where we are. We don't like our identity as a podcast makes no sense. We don't know who we are or what we're doing.
You know what? I love it.
I'm a fan of it.
We're just three pals having a good time. We've
Yeah.
said that from the
We
beginning.
live in
Yeah.
the fuzz, dude. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
Well, should
Yeah.
we jump out of the university or do we want to do any more?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the hose. You know,
Oh, the hose and hydrant.
The resident hose and hydrant. It used to be fire hall number 3. It's a pretty cool place. It's like 3 stories tall.
It is.
Yeah, it's neat. It's
Far
cool.
too tall
famous,
for me.
It's a cool bar.
Famous saloon
Yeah,
in Saskatoon.
It's cool. They have a ghost there that the staff have dubbed Boots
Oh,
due to.
because he's got some big clunky boots.
Yeah, apparently there's some heavy footsteps you can hear on the upper floors when no one else is around, when the bar is closed and nobody should be up there. I don't know. Apparently glasses have been thrown around and some weird shit's happened, and yeah,
And there's always some weird
Well,
shit happening at the hose, to
yeah,
be real.
agreed.
Most of the times that I've spent at the hose,
Oh.
there's been something wild going on. Well, not recently. These days, we just go there and I lose $20 on a VLT and call it a night.
We've definitely calmed down from our younger age. That's for
Oh,
sure.
certainly. Anyway, we're back now. So, we said a bunch of horrible things that needed to be chopped out.
Yeah.
first ever edit.
Yeah.
Never had one, yeah.
Never happened.
I think we had one other edit.
Yeah,
didn't
we
we
did when the air conditioning unit came on.
Right.
Oh yeah.
We didn't actually
Close
see
the door.
anything wild. We just there's something that we're saving for a future period
Yeah.
when we've done less preparation.
And we want
Less
to just
preparation
talk.
than this.
yeah, less preparation than this. One of those really special times. Anyway, getting back into it, why don't we do
Yeah.
the St. Louis Ghost Light?
Yeah.
That's one that's been
is that the ghost train?
the Ghost Train. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Ghost Train, the Ghost Light.
I do have a fun story
I knew
about
you
a
did.
ghost train
Okay.
that I'll tell you after we talk about this.
Okay, so it's not the same Ghost Train.
No.
Okay, so
Yeah.
this has been widely reported since like for a very long period. I think there are reports for this one that go beyond the 1920s.
Yeah, like way back. This is probably the oldest one on this list. I
Like
think.
prior
for sure.
prior to cars being something that are particularly well, I
Ubiquitous.
don't even know if there were. Yeah, I don't know if there were cars when this was first reported. But
We're not a history podcast, guys. Just,
we,
just remember that.
I love how often we have to note that.
guys, we don't know what we're talking
We
about,
have no idea what we're doing.
but we're here.
It's okay.
But anyway, so out by St. Louis, Saskatchewan, which is a village of very few people. I think it's got a village of 415 people as of today. This one's been featured on Unsolved Mysteries because this is a phenomena that happens in a lot of different places. Mm-hmm. But this one in particular, up until I think it was like, I don't know which year exactly it was, but this one had no explanation for
Yeah.
why it was happening. Lots of people had tried to figure it out. And this is another fun sucker one in reality. But there is kind of a silver lining to it. So the phenomena is ultimately that people go to this certain point in St. Louis and it appears that lights are coming towards you, like
Yeah.
a mass of light.
like a ghost train.
Yeah, like a ghost train. And it happens right where this old set of derelict tracks are. And it's been happening for such a long period that these tracks were not always derelict. Mm-hmm. And the idea was ultimately that what people believed because the lights change color and do all kinds of wild things. Like sometimes there's red lights, sometimes it's white lights, and it always seems like it's coming towards you and then it fades away right before it kind of gets towards you.
Okay.
People have believed that it was, possibly a train that had met a horrible fate, like maybe the entire crew of the train met a horrible fate.
Okay.
There are other reports that maybe this is somehow or another the ghost of a conductor. And some of the lights that they're seeing are like the lanterns. There's some story about a conductor who was possibly decapitated while checking something.
I had heard that about the decapitated train conductor, and he was walking along with his lantern looking for his head.
That's no good. We don't like that.
That can't be a fun time.
No.
Don't you just hate it? Well, I mean, the saying is you'd lose your head if it wasn't screwed on. In this case, he legitimately lost his head.
He may or may not have lost his head.
My man needs to screw it on a little tighter. I'll see myself out.
In any case, though, I think in the late noughts here, 2 grade 12 students from up north, somewhere in northern Saskatchewan, whose names I've decided to omit because I don't remember, and I didn't write it down.
That's okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna spoil sport this one again. They went for like a science project or something like that. They took one of their dads with them, and they'd mapped out a bunch of surrounding roads where this ghost light was, and they had figured that it must be headlights somehow.
Sure.
Somehow it's got to be headlights. So they like mapped out these areas around and had the dad go to these certain points that they'd mapped out and blink his headlights. At a certain point, they realized that there was something to do with the elevation or so. I'm not going to explain it very well. I'm definitely not going to have it all the way through, but ultimately they managed to replicate the phenomena.
Okay.
And basically what happens is people are driving down these certain spots in the road. The headlights hit the trees in a certain way, and diffraction causes it to like spread out and look massive.
Right, okay.
Like a train coming towards them.
Interesting.
So that, I guess, basically accounts for almost all of these ghost train things.
Sure.
That said, though, these reports go back really far.
I was going to say, like,
Yeah,
even if there were cars in
like,
1920.
If they could recreate it, that's great. But, if it's before cars are even here.
Yeah. Or ubiquitous. Like, if this is happening semi-regularly and there's only one guy who owns a car.
Yeah.
Like
that guy's a real stinker, is what he is.
That's Timmy Ghost Train.
But
with his Model T.
But, my dad actually has a story about that as well.
Now let's hear it. Lay it on us.
So he grew up in rural Manitoba. So, like, not much going on, not very many vehicles. Mm-hmm. His thing could also be explained by the same situation. But he said the one day he was in his truck, this was late at night, and he turned off he was driving home, and he noticed a big light, like a train light.
Sure.
Well, there's no tracks where he was driving. So he's like, well, that's really weird. But at one point in time in history, there had been tracks there.
Okay.
So he's like, okay, this is kind of weird, because why would a train be, coming this way at 10 o'clock when there's no tracks? Like it just didn't line up to him. And he said the closer he tried to get to it, the further away it was. Like it's like it was coming close,
and then it would retreat.
and then he would drive forward, and it would just go back, and he would just be following this light.
Chicken shit ghost train,
right?
Aliens.
He just didn't want to mess with the Gare Bear. I get it.
At that point, he was still doing karate and shit.
No, this was before the karate times.
Karate? Damn.
This was farm boy days.
Man, that's They were in peak mess with Gary position, because give it a few more years and he would have known how to like kumite their asses
with that mustache.
Hell yeah, dude. Love that Gary karate.
The karate
picture.
Gary picture is beautiful.
Karate Gary is the fucking king.
You guys are gonna have to fill me in sometime.
Oh man, I'll show you. I'll send you the picture.
Do it.
It's
Please
so
do.
funny.
It rocks.
I'm excited to see it.
It's the funniest picture of my father.
Nice.
Kung Fu Gary. Now with action grip.
Nice.
Oh man.
With sound effects.
Well, next as everyone shuffles through their notes and panics trying to figure out where we're going, why don't we go to Fort San?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's go there. So Fort San was a tuberculosis sanatorium that I think was initially, you guys will have to confirm this for me, but I think the various buildings on the campus were commissioned between 1912 and 1917, I think.
Hit the nail on the head.
Good job.
Something to that effect. Yep. In any case, though, it was a facility built to house, like, tuberculosis was a big deal
It was a
in
huge
the
deal.
the earlier parts of the 20th century. And it
Indeed.
continued to be somewhat of an aspect until, well, they closed the sanatorium as a sanatorium in 1971, I believe.
Just the name sanatorium is very ominous.
It is, isn't it?
It's very spooky.
Yeah,
Reminds
it's
me
shit
of-
that you hear in a Metallica song.
Yeah, or like you'd expect to find one in like a BioShock game.
Yeah,
or
for sure.
somewhere where you'd think you'd see ghosts. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
When I hear sanatorium, I think, okay, that's some spooky stuff.
Yeah, some
For
crazy
sure.
shit happened in there.
Well, and just to go on the tuberculosis thing, apparently it is still an issue in this world. It hasn't gone
It
away.
is still an issue. I
It's-
know
yeah.
when Lauren was doing her my wife has a paramedic certificate, and while she was doing paramedic school, one of her classmates got tuberculosis.
Wow.
Seriously.
Yeah. Pretty bonkers.
Wow,
So
Yeah.
that's
it's one of those
crazy.
things where you're like, I didn't think that happened anymore. But
Yeah.
my brother got scarlet fever when we were little kids, so that's another bizarre, mostly eradicated illness. So
Wow.
shit happens.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure, it does.
Shit does indeed happen.
But let's go back to the sanatorium. Sorry for derailing the conversation. I just figured I'd throw in my little tidbit.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, like it was. They held a lot of people at a sanatorium. It was like 350 people.
Yeah,
or
I think it
something?
was designed to hold up to or above about 350 people, something like that.
Yeah.
People living in like pretty utter isolation for the most part.
Yeah.
It was much like Penhurst. Like most of the thing about a lot of these facilities that were built to treat people for medical conditions back in the day is that they really were. Like tuberculosis, there's a very specific reason as to why it was way out in the middle of the nowhere, because we really didn't know how to control it super well, and it was it was, and I think does still to this day remain extremely
It
contagious.
tears through towns.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
rips through places that are
Yeah.
not prepared, and I don't even really know what's changed. Like, do we get some sort? There's no like
think there's
jab for that or anything like that, is
I think
there?
There's a vaccine for tuberculosis.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think
We're
it's
so stupid, but
We are
I'll
really-
take your word for it.
Really making fools out of ourselves this one.
Yeah,
that's
that's
okay.
all right.
So apparently there's a ghost at this sanatorium.
Or there was a ghost, because the entire campus has been demolished. Between 2011 and 2018, this place has been taken down. But
Damn.
prior to that period, I think there was, what was the event center? There was a conference center there
Yeah.
for a while. What's that called?
I'm not sure.
Flip to the next page, my dear boy.
Okay. This one is all you.
All right. I will, I
don't know.
Hold on, folks. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, Echo Valley Conference Center is what it's called.
We'll do an
Sorry.
edit.
Oh,
in
it's
there.
right up.
We
yeah.
will not do an edit because your boy is not editing that much tonight.
Oh, man. You just save it. Save it and do it. Cut some shit out, because we're looking like ding-dongs.
We're gonna look like ding dongs. That's part of the charm. That's why people like us.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. So anyway, whatever the conference center was called, there was a conference center for a good period, and I know that they hosted like art camps and all kinds of like music intensives and stuff like that out there. It was just all like, it was a gorgeous kind of. I think it was like the entire facility was like built in a Tudor / like Victorian style. Like, it had varying styles of architecture, but it was a gorgeous building. And if you do get the chance, like, Google it. It really, really was something to behold, like the outside. And it's a really, the fact that it got demolished is a real testament to the fact that this province really doesn't, where we live does not value history at all.
No,
Which is weird because Saskatchewan has a pretty rich history. But
Yeah, but
We do, and
some
we have
of
a
it-
rich
some
history of
they're-
tearing buildings the fuck down, dude.
Some of it were very well, not us in general, but our politicians are very much trying to sweep under the rug. We'll put it that way.
There's a lot of that, but yeah, there's also just like a general lackage of I think appreciate, and like, to appreciate things you really do need funds as well. But anyway,
Yeah,
the
for
ghost, hit us with the ghosts.
Yeah, so there's a ghost, or there used to be a ghost there, I suppose.
I wonder if there's still a ghost there.
Yeah,
Maybe,
I mean,
maybe on the land.
Yeah, just because you demolish the building doesn't mean the ghost leaves.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But anyways, the ghost who people named Jane would she was a nurse, and she would walk around like she was still working, and apparently she was so distraught by the experiences she had there that she committed suicide in the building, and or on the premises at least. And people who go there and see her report the feeling of being choked and being unable to catch their breath, like you've got tuberculosis.
Is that like you've got TB, or is it like you've like you're like hanging yourself or something like that?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I didn't. I mean, that makes more sense that it would be tuberculosis related. But I do have some more stuff about Fort San.
Do tell.
Hit me.
Yeah.
Because I was on this also just for your knowledge. Our cartoonist, graphic designer, actor, proprietor of Eyecatcher Video, along with his dear sons,
You're
Hugh
forgetting
Evans.
a very important one, Mountain Man.
And Mountain Man. Yeah, absolute Mountain Man.
That's an accurate description.
Hugh Evans. Apparently his mom worked there back at some point at a period where nurses wore like very old-timey uniforms. He told a story. I was on, for some background, I was on a game show, a quiz show called the Prairie Normal Activity Quiz, which if you search that on YouTube, you can find it. Hell, we should even put it in the description.
Let's do it.
It's a very fun watch.
Okay.
Also, for the Shaw viewers, if you look in your on your Spotlight guide there and scroll far enough, I'm quite certain you'll see it, because when I was looking the other day, I did see it. It's been playing for some time on there.
That's so funny.
And it's worth your time. But I was on it, and I won't spoil it, but I did pretty well. I did pretty well on that show. It was lots of fun, lots of like cryptid stuff and lots of paranormal stuff. But anyway, the story goes, Hugh's mom worked there back in the day, and she was a nurse. And one night she was just ripping through the hallways, and she was going to go out this doorway on the second floor, which she thought led into another ward.
Sure.
But what ultimately happened is she opened a door to the outside, and the stairs were being repaired, so she just plummeted from the second story
Jesus Christ.
down to the snow below, and she rolled. And she wasn't injured or anything like that, but she recounted that anybody who had been looking out the window at that period would have probably witnessed what appeared to be a white apparition floating down from the second story, or maybe not so much floating as plummeting.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess she didn't actually recall seeing any sort of ghosts or anything like that in her time there, but she may have been responsible. She may have been one of the ghosts.
Maybe.
If you
were there at that
wrong,
period, whenever that was.
Even
Even
if
just
landed
the image
wrong.
of it.
Yeah, the image of it.
Yeah, she didn't land wrong, because I've seen her, and she's a very, very nice lady.
Yeah.
Very nice, funny, elderly woman.
I'm glad she didn't, have some sort of terrible accident while falling out of the second story.
Yeah, good God,
that's
man.
a good fall.
That is
That's
that is a
decent,
good fall.
Like
Like if you fall from like 8 feet, you can break stuff. That's like what.
If you fall from like 3 feet, you can break
Yeah.
stuff. I used to work at a facility that processed diamond samples.
Okay.
Not the greatest job in the entire world, but there was a guy on a step ladder, and he was up like 3 or 4 feet, and he kind of fell the wrong way, and he broke his fucking femur.
Ooh.
yeah.
So he was jacked up and doing all kinds of paperwork and stuff like that.
Yikes.
But yeah, you can fall a very short distance if you like. This is the Bone Break podcast.
Where we talk about ghosts and breaking your bones.
Yeah. But yeah, you can really jack yourself up pretty good from a very short distance.
Wow. Well, I'm glad she didn't.
She didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing.
I mean, that is lucky.
Yeah, that is lucky.
Let's keep circling on this and see how much time we could eat up.
Let's do it.
Oh,
Should we talk about? Batage?
I think so.
We should definitely
Yeah,
talk
this
Batage.
one we actually got an email from a listener, Robin, who told us to look into the history of Batage. So Spencer took a crack at that today, and
Yeah, very popular and famous kind of field trip destination. The site of a very brutal and bloody battle that took place between, and like probably not probably, without a doubt, not one of our country's finest moments, the
No.
Battle of Batage.
No.
A very ugly clash between the Métis people, headed up by Louis Riel, and their First Nations allies against the Canadian government, which I believe that army was mostly I think it was a militia
Yeah.
that ultimately ended taking Batage. But a very, very bloody battle that took place there.
During the Northwest Rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, during the Battle of Batage was captured. The residents fled, left it a ghost town. Louis Riel surrendered and was eventually executed.
He was hanged for treason in Regina.
We don't have too much on this.
But they do say that there is like disembodied voices there,
Yeah.
and spirits of soldiers that are still lurk around there.
It makes sense. This is
So-
a lot of suffering happened there.
For sure. Like, again, we always talk about this, and if an area has great trauma, what's more traumatic than a war?
Especially like a race war.
A bloody battle,
Yeah.
fought for some pretty horrible reasons.
Yeah.
And like if you go there, there are some buildings that are still standing that are remnants. One being a church. I think there may be a schoolhouse. I might be lying about that. There are some buildings there though, and they have bullet holes in them. And they point those suckers out on the tours.
Have you guys been to Batoche?
I have, yeah.
I haven't
It's been a
been.
long ass time, but I have been.
Yeah, I can't confirm or deny that I've been there. I can't remember.
You've
My
been there
brain-
because I've been there
probably,
with you, my
Okay,
dude.
yeah, my brain's mush. You know
Yeah,
that.
grade 5, baby.
It's a beautiful place. It
It
really
is gorgeous.
Yeah.
And-
If you guys are traveling through Saskatchewan and you get the chance, you should check out Batoche.
It's worth a stop.
Yeah.
And after the Battle of Batoche, basically the inhabitants were pushed out by the militia. Mm-hmm. And the ones that were not left shortly after. So it was left a ghost town. It's a national historic site. So
It is.
it's quite well preserved.
Yeah.
I mean, how long before our Saskatchewan government decides to take a wrecking ball?
Oh,
to
I
it?
don't
Because
think-
apparently we love knocking
I
shit
think we're
down.
good on Batoche. Batoche is
Yeah.
well preserved. They have some very, very nice, very, very expensive glassy structures that have been erected there. I think they'll be all right.
I think people would
good.
lose their shit.
That would be
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah,
I think
they
I think
lost.
there would be some sort of there'd have to be some sort of outrageous regime change that involved some sort of military takeover and erasure of
know what?
history to have Batoche gotten rid of. But I don't know where we're going with this. So
Yeah, we've just kind of been chumming the waters to see where the bites are taking. So.
well, I don't know what that means. But should we go to the Pioneer Cemetery?
yeah,
sure.
well, we personally had our own experiences
We
there.
have.
So
I've never been there, so you guys are gonna have to handle this one. But I know you guys have been there, so let's hear about it.
this place is. I didn't realize how close it is to my house, but it is super close to my
Yeah,
house.
I mean, it's not quite a stone's throw, but like
It's
if you had a
pretty
real
close.
cannon of an arm, it might be.
Yeah, it's pretty close. So, it's the oldest graveyard in Saskatchewan,
Right.
or Saskatoon, anyways.
I think it's
Yeah.
Saskatchewan. I might be lying, but I'm pretty sure.
It's the people who first settled Saskatoon as a city.
Okay.
That's where they're buried. So it's not massive.
If I remember correctly, there's only like 250 people buried there.
There's not. It's not huge.
Yeah, it's not
There's
huge, but it's
lots-
very old.
Lots of kids buried there.
Oh
Yeah,
I
lots,
read that.
lots of babies. The
Lots of
mortality
children,
rate for
yeah.
women and children in childbirth very not great at that period.
There's like 51 children buried there or something, or 49. Something
Yeah,
like that.
it's something pretty nutty like that. But they do have an interesting thing that Spencer had told me about, and I didn't know that this was a thing. It's called the Devil's Crossing,
Right. Yeah.
and it's the way the street lights are situated when you stand under them,
And this is crossing the road
crossing
to the,
the
cemetery.
road to the cemetery. So that makes it even creepier.
Spooky.
It makes it spooky, but apparently, no matter how you stand, it'll always look like your shadow has a tail.
That's pretty bonkers.
That is crazy.
That's a fun fact. We're gonna have to go there and test that out.
definitely have to
like
go test that out.
That sounds like a fun thing to do.
It's
I
not
mean,
like it would take us that long. It's so close to home.
No, it certainly
Yeah.
would not.
We gotta do it.
I would love to ghost hunt there at 3 a.m, but I really don't want to run into any people or anything like that, wondering what the hell we're doing just out in the cemetery in the middle of the night.
It's not while it is a picturesque location, it is it's home to some pretty suspect behavior around that area.
Yeah,
That's the fairgrounds right by there in our city, and it gets a little wild over there at points. But and
Especially
it's not
at
just
night.
ghosts, let me tell you.
No, it is not just ghosts. But yeah, Spencer and our story kind of like this is what sort of kicked off the first episode, right? We talked about it in the first episode. And
Maybe give the folks
Yeah,
a little
I'll give
taste,
you a
because maybe
little-
this is the one they jumped on with, and if they haven't stopped listening by this point, we'll give them a taste.
yeah, for sure. So him and I went there in what would you say, grade 8?
I think this was grade 8, yeah.
Grade 8, grade 7, one of those grades. And we were there doing like some weird class scavenger hunt.
Sure.
Historical, right?
Yeah.
So we went there, and normal day. It was a hot day. It was nice out, and
No wind. No wind whatsoever.
Nothing to speak of. It was a sunny,
Nice, calm
bright
day.
day.
Yeah.
Calm day. Not a cloud in the sky.
Sure.
and some of the gravestones are a little loose.
Sure.
And some of the kids in our class were little hellraisers and noticed it was loose.
Right.
So they were shaking it to try to scare people.
Of course.
And they knocked it over.
Oh.
And I shit you not, as soon as they knocked that over, the wind started howling through the cemetery.
Absolutely tearing through the cemetery.
Wow.
The sky got dark, like it was
Yeah.
gonna pour rain.
It was very, very spooky.
And you know what messed with me the most out of all of that?
Do tell.
The tops of the trees,
They weren't fucking moving.
they weren't moving at all.
Yeah, here
Wow.
I go. We're finishing each other's
Well,
sentences,
it's
or I'm
just-
just stealing the end of the good
Well,
part of the story.
And what I
Spencer the Steamroller here.
what I realize now, because at one point we stepped off the property onto the street,
Yeah, right.
and there was no wind when we were stepping onto the street. There was nothing.
Nothing at all.
It was calm. It was dead quiet.
Yeah.
So like that alone, and from my understanding, there has been like a little boy seen in the tree lines.
Yeah, there
wearing,
have been all
like,
kinds of
very
weird things.
earthy clothing.
Right.
You know, so it's there's lots of sightings of
the
ghosts in
the
that
thing
area.
the thing about that one is,
Yeah,
as
hit me.
as you like to say,
Think about that one.
the thing that really makes that story particularly interesting and spooky and kind of hard to believe, aside from the people that were there, and we have quite a we're the type of dorks who are still quite close with a lot of dogs we went to elementary school with.
Yeah.
Shout out all the boys.
You know who you are.
Yeah, but anyway, the second that so the teacher flipped out, obviously, as you have these students coming and you have this headstone from the 1800s that is being effectively vandalized and knocked over, despite
Yeah.
the fact that it was cracked already, but they knocked it over.
Yeah.
Like it made a loud thunk when it hit
Yeah.
that ground. You know when you hear like a big rock hit the ground? It was like that. It was and it's not something you want to hear in a place like that.
No.
But the second they righted it, he got them to pick it up and put it back on its, back on the other half of it. And the second that this headstone was righted, the wind just ceased. It just stopped altogether.
So
is-
that's kind of an unexplainable sort
That is
of event.
quite the coincidence.
It
Yeah.
is a wild coincidence, and I can't account for that. I'm no meteorologist, but I've not encountered weather like that before or again. Another interesting thing about that cemetery is there are 162 known burials there, 144 of which have been identified. At some point, I think maybe it was in the 80s. I'm not 100% sure on that, but there's a bunch of erosion that took place on the riverbank.
Yep.
And as a result of that, they had to remove a lot of the plots and they had to move them. They had to move them further in. And I think some of them even got taken to Woodlawn.
Yeah, you're
which
right,
is
yeah.
another famous cemetery, which is also known for some level of activity. I think whenever you have a sprawling campus just full of, human remains, anything kind of surrounding the realm of death, you're gonna have,
Agreed.
superstition and
Yeah,
ghostly
for sure.
encounters and disembodied voices and
You know,
apparitions and all kinds of bullshit.
At one point when I was trying to figure out what I was gonna do, I applied for a job as a gravedigger there.
Oh my god.
Hell yeah, dude! You would have loved that. I was prompting you. I was pushing you super hard because I'm
Yeah.
a city boy. I believe heavily in the municipal machine of this city. So I was pushing Bretty here to get on as a gravedigger, and I'm
Bretty.
sure he would have been looking over. Brett would have caused some accidents with that little caterpillar because he would have been just, what's that?
At least once or twice, like especially if I was working like shift work, if I had to work like late at night.
Yeah, just digging
Dude, your head would
graves
be
that-
on a swivel.
Oh god.
Yeah, with like
damn.
big halogen lamps
Yeah.
pointed down and like.
I can't imagine something worse than digging a
The
grave
fog.
at 2 a.m.
Yeah, no
my
doubt.
God.
Man, you got your podcast, and it'll be all right.
Well,
Well,
do
You're
that,
Yeah,
listening.
I would
You're
have
listening to
tons of
Do Ghosts Be
stories.
Real. You're listening to your own podcast back because you're an absolute fucking maniac.
Well, that's gonna be me tonight when I edit this thing together.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
you're
then-
actually gonna have
and-
some work tonight.
And
yeah.
then promptly also watch it on YouTube when it releases because you have nothing else better to do
Yeah.
with your day.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm not gonna
man.
lie. I have listened to a couple episodes of ours for quality control.
I've
reasons.
listened for quality control, and
Yeah.
I've been pleased.
Yeah.
I mostly just listen because I like the sound of my own voice, but that's a whole nother thing.
Okay. You just jerk off while listening.
No,
Yeah,
no, I listen
think you
to
do,
it
and you're just
and
ashamed of
fall
it.
asleep to it usually.
Well, I mean,
It's
That'll
mostly
happen.
Simon's voice that just puts me into a calming state enough that I can
It just
sleep.
torques him up. Brett gets a raging chub when he hears your voice.
Oh man.
I'm glad I can help.
That's why Brett's always wearing jeans and the rest of us are wearing stretchy pants. Brett's got to restrain his shit.
I am so sorry.
You gotta wear some tight pants.
I am so sorry, Eric. You have so much to edit out, buddy.
I'm so sorry about just this episode altogether.
You know,
I'm loving being with the boys.
I'm having fun.
We're having fun.
Not
but
only is this a Saskatchewan/Saskatoon
Yeah.
episode, we're just having fun.
I don't know if we have any listeners at this point, but
this
we're
has
having
been a
a good
Sleepy
time.
Boy episode. People have been shutting this one off.
Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is.
We kind of wowed out
fine.
a little bit.
You know what else is haunted? The Western Development Museum.
Is it?
Apparently, yeah.
Another fun attraction very close to my
I love the
home.
Yeah.
Western Development Museum.
It
I've
is very
spent many, countless hours there throughout my childhood, and I still have a great deal of fondness for it. My dad was very involved with blacksmithing
All
at
right.
a point,
Yep.
so he spent a lot of time at the shop there, learning and teaching courses as well. So I spent a lot. I got the full experience when I was a little kid. Like I got to plot around the curatorial center a pretty good degree as well.
Okay.
Which that's not open to the public. That's where kind of things that don't have a home in the museum yet are.
Okay.
Things that are stored, from, not that the museum really has old exhibits, because they certainly are not known for shifting things out.
Yeah,
but
I
they,
know. I think
they
it's
have
been
like,
the same since I moved here.
yeah, it's been
Yeah.
pretty much. You know what though? I got to give them some credit. Over the last decade, they have added a lot of wings. They haven't really taken stuff away, but they have added. They have freshened it up quite a bit. But the curatorial center has all the stuff that's either not found a home yet, or it's being worked on, or it's in storage or something like that. It's full of all kinds of incredible artifacts of our past.
I loved it because this probably won't surprise you guys at all, but I just love trains.
No fucking way, dude.
And they have that
You're
massive
passing my
engine.
test with flying colors, buddy.
They have that massive train engine in there.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
It is very
To
cool.
be fair, it is pretty awesome.
They have
is
all
very
kinds of
cool.
like steam tractors and stuff. Welcome to the Steam Tractor Hour.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We're gonna talk about farming equipment and
Yeah.
ghosts. so-
Old farm implements is what this is about now.
I literally could do an hour-long show about old farm implements.
I don't doubt that for 1 second.
What was I gonna say? Every year at the Western Development Museum, they have a train show.
Oh,
And-
yeah,
and
yeah.
I've been to it. I think almost every year.
Every single year?
Not every single
Now
year.
you put your fucking conductor hat
But
on
it's-
there.
Please
it's
tell me you have
fantastic.
one.
I used to, man. As a kid, I used to have one of those
Man.
like blue and white striped conductor
I had a
hats.
conductor hat.
You
My-
gotta obtain one and go.
My stepdad got me one.
That's
It just-
how you know we got bullied. Is that more than one of us had a
Exactly.
conductor hat? If you had a
Exactly.
conductor hat, you got you
were not the
you
cool
had
kids.
you got pushed around a little bit
Yeah.
at a point.
But you know what? It's okay because I got to have one of those wooden train whistles, and it was
Yeah,
awesome.
I had one of those. Those fucking rocked.
Yeah,
Got mine
it was
from the
great.
Moose Jaw branch of the
Nice.
Western Development
Ooh.
Museum, which also has a wicked train that goes in a circle around the museum.
That's pretty cool. I got mine from the Edmonton Railway Museum, which is like a huge museum of just trains. And they have like
So-
multiple different trains there, and you can go on rides on them.
Don't
It's-
say it.
You boys
Don't
trains
say it.
quite a bit. You
We
peruse
were
trains.
into trains at a point. I'm not as into trains now as I
Do you
once
still
was.
get excited whenever you see a train.
I don't mind a train.
I would say I get excited when
I
I
get
see
pretty
a train.
upset when I want to go home.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, our
that's-
city's the city planning historically, and like we've expanded a whole lot. So the railway lines that at one point were on the
Outskirts.
outskirts of
Are
the city
now-
are now dead smack in the
Yeah.
middle. So there are
Yeah.
you're at rush hour waiting to go home, and you're waiting for like a 750,000 car train to go
Yeah,
through.
that's a problem that will never.
We're
get fixed.
haunted by trains, folks.
So what I'm saying, well, all I'm trying to say is you should buy an electric car so we have less oil trains.
All right. Anyway,
This man always pushing his propaganda on us.
he's going hard. We're not against
I'm gonna
electric
buy-
cars on this podcast.
I'm gonna buy a diesel
We're
truck
against
just
spending.
because you said that.
We're against spending $70,000 on vehicles for no fucking reason.
I'm gonna buy the biggest diesel and I'm gonna jack it up to the fucking sky.
I hope
and,
you do.
and just get a big smoke.
So the Western Development Museum.
long as I
Brett's gonna be coal rolling Simon, but with the ghosts of dinosaurs past.
That's right.
As long as I can come for a ride in your jacked up douchey truck, I'm okay with it.
I'm gonna need like 10 ladders to get into the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already a short boy, so
Short Kings sound off.
that's right.
Oh man, you're not.
I'm
you're
not compensating for nothing.
You absolutely are. You're good. You're good. Anyway, back to the Western Development Museum. So there is a cafe within the WDM that is really gorgeous. It's got those I don't know if they're copper or what they are, but they're like that embossed kind of pressed metal tiling on the roof.
Yep.
And I remember historically going there and getting like a real big basket of French fries for not a whole heck of a lot, and doing that a lot throughout my childhood.
Can we still go there and do that?
Yeah.
For sure we could. And honestly, I would say we should do that. I think, despite the sleepiness of this episode, please do bear with us, because a lot of the things that we're talking about here, aside from the ones that have been demolished by, the province or whoever owns the land, we have the opportunity probably to peruse a lot of them and check them out, and
we should
maybe look into the authenticity of some of these haunting claims. I will say the WDM is huge, and it is packed full of shit, and it's got a simulated street built out of like some replica buildings and a lot of buildings that have actually been moved in and restored.
It's very cool.
Yeah,
Really
I
very
love
fucking
that.
cool.
Yeah.
But apparently there are quite a few, once again, we're getting into like non-specific stuff like apparitions, this, that, and the other thing. But one specific one is this lady in red ghost, which much like a lady in white. Apparently there was one night at the museum where people in the Boomtown Cafe were cashing out, and they were looking out into, the Boomtown itself, the street. And all the lights are kind of dim and low because it's,
Closing time.
It's closing time, and they're looking out there, and they can see this woman in all red in Boomtown just staring straight at them through the window, because Boomtown Cafe is like everything about that museum is buildings within buildings.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that cafe is no exception to that. So you can like look right out on Boomtown, and I can't imagine how like absolutely blood curdling that would be, because it is actually kind of a frightening place already.
Yeah, at night it would be, but
Yeah.
no one else is there. The lights are low.
Definitely spooky, especially
I can
with
see
all
it.
that old stuff there.
Yeah.
Like even the mannequins at like the shops and stuff
Oh.
like that. Like
The
they would
best of
startle
time.
me.
At the best of times, mannequins are creepy.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I can't say I've ever met a mannequin I like. So
Another ghost sighting that's been there, that apparently a staff member took a video of what appeared to be a young girl wearing, well, they were just taking a video, and I don't think at the time maybe that they could see it, and when they played it back, it appeared that there was a young girl wearing a pinafore, which is an old style of apron, who appeared on the video. Once again, much like many of these things, because they're not as widely explored as a lot of the other things we've gone through, but we do have the opportunity to at least go and interact with them. I couldn't find that video anywhere, so I can't confirm that. I know there is also a ghost hunting show called The Other Side, which is on APTN, which is their tagline is Canadian ghost hunters with an Indigenous twist.
Oh, that's cool.
And up
Interesting.
until they've done 5 seasons, I think the most recent one was in 2020, and they've been to the museum and the curatorial center a few times to do ghost hunts. And
Cool.
at one point in the curatorial center, they apparently contacted the spirit of a little boy named Daniel using a spirit box. They asked, like, can you say your name clearly? And it said Daniel right after that. Now, y'all know how I feel about
Yeah.
spirit boxes, but
Yeah.
they had
more-
video of it, and it was spooky.
you know what? The more we talk about spirit boxes, the more I'm like, all right.
They're a little hokey, but it
Yeah.
was, it was kind of cool to see. So, but one of the things they talk about is that, especially, in the curatorial center, like it's probably, I don't know how big it is, but it's got maybe even more shit than the WDM itself.
Okay.
And they were talking about how spirits like to kind of latch onto objects.
Sure.
So, so there's lots of activity that's been reported
I
there.
was just about to say that place is chocked full of old objects that
Yeah.
at one point belonged to people. So obviously there's stuff there that means something to somebody at one point
Absolutely.
in time.
It would have been very important to someone.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm like, well, it makes sense that that's haunted because there's a bunch of old stuff. It's the same with antique stores. I'm like, all right, I don't want to buy a fancy chest or something like that and then end up having a damn ghost in my house.
Unless they're a happy ghost or a friendly ghost.
Even then,
though. Yeah.
then, it's a bit much. It's a bit much.
I don't know. I would invite my ghost for dinner.
As a man,
Set a
man
place for them,
who-
just watch them put food in their mouth and it go
as
flop down onto the floor.
you know,
Maybe it would move slower.
I think-
as a
gonna say, I
man
think it
who's
moves
dealt
slower.
with the supernatural, I can tell you, even if it's friendly, it's a bit of a headache.
It's not what you want.
It's not exactly what you want. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't like guests in my house to begin with, let alone uninvited spooky ones.
That's fair.
Brett's just trying to be down in his goon cave.
I just want to be left alone. Just let me be in the cave.
just
Let
want
me
to-
edit these podcasts
I
together.
was gonna say you just want to stream with your friends and
That's right.
Yeah.
There's one other fun one that I think is worth noting. There is a fun, very unique gift store called Glitch's. They're called
yeah.
Glitch's Gifts and Novelties, and they have kind of a little museum of obscura and kind of strange ephemera in the back.
Yeah, they remind me of Borgin and Burks from Harry Potter. I don't know if you know what that is.
I'm gonna pretend that I don't. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
I'm just goofing on you, fella. Yeah, I absolutely do. I read
the-
all those books, and
So did I.
In Nocturne Alley in Harry
Yeah,
Potter,
yeah.
where Draco Malfoy gets the disappearing or the vanishing cabinet. That's what
Yeah.
it's
That's
called.
right.
It reminds me of that.
Glitches has that kind of
They
feel
have
to it.
like
It's whimsical.
Yeah, they have like shrunken heads and like a ventriloquist doll. And
They have do they have a Zoltar machine or something like that? One of
don't
those.
know.
I think it said something about that. I don't know if maybe somebody dresses up like Zoltar or whether they actually have a Zoltar machine that tells your fortune and prints it out.
I don't know what Zoltar is.
Oh man, that's a problem. But anyway, it's like something that would have been found in arcades. It's like an animatronic, weird kind of fortune telling thing.
Purple thing
You've seen something similar to you played
Yeah.
BioShock.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
damn dork. There's something there's probably something like that
Okay.
in there.
Yeah.
I'm being a bully this episode.
It's like-
I'm throwing vitriol at my
I know.
fellas today.
It's okay. That's what we're doing.
But I think they do have one of those.
But the place itself does have an alleged haunted doll
Right.
Yeah.
named Sophie, who it allegedly belonged to an 8-year-old girl. There isn't much info on it. That's the problem.
You got to go in there and you got to ask about it. And you know what
But-
we didn't do? We did not go in there and we did not ask about it. But hey, stay tuned because
We will.
on
Maybe-
33rd Street, which is where Glitch's Gifts and Novelties is, which shout out Glitch's Gifts and Novelties. I don't know, I'm shouting them out.
Hey,
We have
shout 'em out.
we have no affiliation with them, but we respect what they do. There's also another store. Well, I guess we should finish this story
Yeah.
first.
So
Yeah.
But put a pin in that.
so they have like a written warning on the doll.
this doll.
Like, don't insult the doll. Don't mess with the doll.
Do they have that?
Yes, they do.
That I wasn't aware of.
Yes, they do.
That's not in these notes that we're reading directly
No,
off
I
of.
know,
So
but-
that just reminds me exactly of Annabelle. But, I'm
it is
choosing
a
to
very,
believe you.
It's a very similar thing to Annabelle, where it's like, don't mess with this thing.
There's some very similar threads in all of these
Yes.
stories. Threads.
Did-
I don't know. I thought maybe no, these aren't all stitched. I'm just thinking of Annabelle because Annabelle's a Raggedy Ann doll, and that one's
Right,
made out of
right,
fabric.
okay.
This was very poor.
I'm gonna
This
be
that
honest,
fell flat. Tough
I was
crowd,
gonna-
baby.
I was gonna be honest. That one just
That
went
one-
right over my
That
head.
no,
that
that
one
was
hurt a
crap.
little bit.
That one was junk.
but
didn't wasn't this doll owned by like an 8-year-old girl or something?
yes,
Who drowned in the South Saskatchewan River, according to
But-
the mythos here.
from my understanding, from other people I've talked to that are into the more supernatural stuff, like more in tuned with it, if you want to believe that stuff.
Right.
They
I
said
love the disclaimer.
Yeah, they said it's definitely not a ghost in that doll.
Okay.
Who's to say
Y'all
what's
think
in
it'd be a
that doll?
demon?
Demon.
Yeah.
Do demons be real?
Demonic doll.
Yeah, it's a demonic
a
presence.
demonic
It's
presence.
not a happy-go-lucky, fun, like,
I don't
kid
like that.
dying
I don't like that.
present. No,
Well,
it
I mean,
is-
kids. When I think kids dying, I think happy-go-lucky.
but you know what
No,
I
it's
mean.
just
though.
a demon fiddle diddling around in the back of a gift shop.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
In any case, spooky.
yeah, it's not my favorite thing, and you know how I feel about dolls. So if you guys want to go and
Oh, we're gonna take Brett, and it's gonna be nice. It'll be like, it'll be a great little field trip, and we'll also, where I was going with that, put a pin in it shit that I knocked out earlier. There is also another store on 33rd, pretty much right across the street. I think it's close.
Yeah.
Hikate's Magical Marketplace, which
Yep.
is a store that sells all kinds of wild goods, relating to Wicca and all kinds of other spiritual practices. And I'm pretty sure that these candles,
yes, those
that,
candles are
you know,
from there.
you may or may not be able to see, but we got all these ritual candles here.
Yes.
They came from there, correct?
Yes, they did.
But they have all kinds of stuff like that too, and they also have a haunted doll that sits in a acrylic case, which apparently the entire family burned up in a fire.
So
I think we talked about that one.
We did. Yeah, we talked about that
during
on the doll
haunted
episode.
doll episode,
Haunted doll, yeah.
but it's good to reiterate.
Oh, for sure.
Because and you saw pictures of that thing.
I did.
Tell me it did not look
No,
terrifying
it
to you.
was terrifying.
It's a
Yeah.
it's a crusty, burned up old doll. So I
Yeah.
mean, no matter where you're going with it, if our dear girl here got, I don't even know if the camera can pick her up, but
No, they see.
They
Trust
see her?
me, I edit
Okay.
it and I see her the entire time. That
fantastic, as I had hoped. But yeah, if she was a little bit crustier looking, a little bit more smoked up, I don't think anybody would ask any questions if we said it was haunted.
You know what?
I hope it's not, but it probably is.
We should.
I don't believe so. I think I've had no disturbances in my home. It's been if it is the ghost that inhabits this doll as a model citizen here, like right now. All right, viewers, right now is the moment where I'm going to ask the doll, blink your eyes once if you're haunted.
I can't see it.
I think we're
Nothing.
good.
No, I think we're in the clear, folks.
I think we're good.
Let us know in the comments if you see it happen. Otherwise,
next podcast, I'm gonna wait till you go upstairs to the bathroom or something, and I'm gonna install one of those wireless vibrators in it, and I'm
So
just gonna
just
turn it on.
wireless vibrators.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
do
turn it
you
on.
have an excess of those?
Coming out the wazoo, man. No,
Man,
no,
coming out the
Coming out of
wazoo,
your wazoo,
literally. Can't leave my wazoo alone.
But
Anyway, folks, do we have anything else that we want to
We
touch
should
on?
talk
Because
about
we're
this
hitting the
one.
end here.
I do.
because it's a very historical one. The Mar residence.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Supposedly there's a ghost in the Mara.
There's supposedly 2 ghosts.
Oh, yeah.
It's
two
supposed
ghosts,
to be a very haunted building, and it's the oldest standing structure. I think maybe
Yeah.
it's the oldest
I
standing.
think it's just the oldest building in Saskatoon.
Is it the oldest building or is it the oldest private residence? It might just be the oldest building.
One of those two.
It's
ve-
old.
It's very
it's old, folks. It's from the 1880s, I think.
That's the point. It's for Saskatchewan, anyways. It's very old.
Now, what
for
year
Canada.
was this sucker put together?
It looks like it was built in 1884.
Ooh.
Okay.
And in 1885, it served as a field hospital.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So all
So-
kinds of people are coming through all
Yeah.
battered up.
Yeah, so...
And supposedly there's a ghost of an angry man in the basement.
Yeah.
And a child in the upstairs.
Yeah,
boy.
Apparently the child just stares out the window, just watching you.
that's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, the one time I was even around that area... Okay, this is a bit of a weird story. This is when I was in high school.
That's
and-
what we're hoping for.
Yeah, well, this is when I was in high school and a little bit more in touch when when I was having all that weird stuff happening in my home.
Right.
And I went by the Mar residence, and I kid you not, all I could taste in my mouth was like copper, like pennies.
Okay.
Like we were
Did you
across
bite your
the street.
tongue?
No, we were right across the street, and then suddenly, like you get that weird gut feeling.
Yeah.
I got a weird gut feeling, and then I just tasted copper in my mouth. I'm like, what the? Like, it tasted like blood, and it smelled like blood in the air to me.
Wow.
So, like,
I don't think I know what blood smells like. If I'm going to be entirely
it's very
honest,
I do.
metallic
Yeah, it smells
smelling.
metallic.
It smells.
I hope to
very,
not
very
know what
metallic.
blood smells like because
It's
I
not
feel like
great.
to know what it smells like, you have to have a good quantity
It's
of it.
got to be a fair amount.
I'm a real
And-
klutz, and I've done some damage to myself while chopping onions, but I've never had the pleasure of smelling blood.
But at the time, I didn't realize that, like, the history of the place, that it was a field hospital, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that it was a field hospital makes sense why you would kind of smell
Yeah.
those things. And I just got this weird feeling that there was something like really nasty and mean in the lower level of the building.
Okay.
And this was with no prior knowledge. I just knew that it was a haunted house.
Interesting.
So, like, this was all kind of intuition, I think.
Brett's a psychic, folks.
I mean,
You're
who's
right
to
here
say?
first.
Who's to say? I mean,
So there's a couple things I want to talk about.
yeah, for sure. Hit me.
The Delta Besborough Hotel
Yes.
in downtown
Yes,
Saskatoon.
absolutely gorgeous. A real notable part of our skyline.
Mm-hmm.
People will call it the castle on the river. It's
It's beautiful.
it is beautiful, and it's an old railway hotel.
Mm-hmm. And apparently there are 2 ghosts there. One is the ghost of a bellboy who died, and it's like a young man who haunts the building. And the other is the ghost of like a porter, I guess you would call him, like a
A bellhop or something,
something
like
like
that.
that.
And that's the guy who fell
Yeah.
to his
Yeah,
death,
him
right?
and his family, right?
supposedly there is a crack in the floor where he hit,
From where his body
where he
hit
the ground
on the stairwell. Apparently,
Yeah.
he was maybe dealing with a rowdy customer or something like that.
Yeah.
There's some mythos behind this. I know many years ago, they used to offer a ghost tour,
Yeah.
actually, and I went on it. And let me tell you, I don't remember a whole lot about it because it was It was like probably 17 years ago.
Yeah.
But in any case, I do remember there was that particular story. I remember there are certain parts of the hotel that you go through that are like notable cold spots. And they
Sure.
are very, very cold. Now, whether that's HVAC or not,
It might just
I'm
be
not
that
sure.
it's a 120-year-old building. But
Yeah.
you never know.
but absolutely
You're
gorgeous.
telling
It is
me
beautiful.
they were not good at crafting stuff?
No,
and that
no,
they
no.
would
That's
let
not
you
what we're
in?
saying.
No, just
We're saying that central air was...
the HVAC science has not come as far.
It was not there yet, and retrofitting that is interesting. I've spent a lot of time in the Delta Bessborough also, and I will say that of all the places I've ever spent, because I used to do event setup, the places that I have spent time in overnight, the Bessborough probably freaks me out the most. I spent a lot
Yeah.
of time setting up like galas there, doing like graveyard shifts setting it up.
Well,
I've shot music videos there, and I've been in ballrooms and stuff like that.
isn't the top floor like locked out? Like you can't.
Can't
go to the
attest to
top?
that, fella,
I'm
but
not sure.
I would
I
maybe.
don't know.
Who's to say? I don't think
'Cause
so.
I think at one point in the building's history there was a fire in it, if I'm not mistaken.
I once again have no fucking clue, dude.
All right. Well,
But that's
we'll-
this is Do Ghostby. We have no idea what the fuck's going
That's
on.
okay. I got one more I want to talk about.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So apparently in spring of 2012, and this one was reported by CBC, and there's a police report.
Okay.
So
We like police reports.
a Catholic priest was called to a home in Saskatoon who said that her uncle was showing signs of being possessed by the devil.
Oh boy.
Apparently, he was he was found shirtless. He had the word hell carved into his chest.
Now,
Do you think it was?
demonic possession or do meth be real?
Yeah. Do you think maybe he got into some primo crystal? Because it's very possible.
Yeah.
Meth does indeed be real.
This
So-
is a city where primo crystal is known to circulate to some degree.
Yeah.
And it would explain why when the priest came, he was talking to himself in the third person. We're talking about himself in the third person.
Yeah, it
He was-
sounds like maybe he just needed to go to. He
Yeah.
may have been suffering from some sort of some psychiatric condition
Perhaps.
or methamphetamine.
Perhaps both.
Yeah, or possibly
Or-
maybe it's a trifecta and also demonic possession.
Do you imagine you're on meth, you have a psychotic break, and the devil possesses
If the
you?
devil, I feel like when you're on methamphetamine and you're also in the midst of a, some sort of a psychotic episode, that probably the devil would, it might be easier for the devil
He
to
might
get it.
he might tiptoe his way in.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
when you're
Man, what a bad day.
your guard is somewhat more down than
Yeah.
usual. I don't know that I would say that people on meth have their guard down so
I
much.
don't-
They tend to be a little
They're
bit.
just insane.
Famously.
They tend to be
Yeah.
pretty alert.
What a bad day that would be. You're just doing some meth, like you do on a Tuesday.
you're just gonna have
and,
a party.
I hate to disparage the man because we don't know all the facts.
No.
He did have hell carved into his chest.
He did.
So
And,
that's a very upsetting thing.
And when the priest came, he was saying things like, "He belongs to me. Get out." And yeah, I don't
that's
know.
a little demon
just
possessing.
being weird.
Yeah.
And then while they were waiting for the police to arrive, the priest blessed the man, who apparently became quiet and resumed his normal composure and was much more subdued and not as hopped up on demon juice or whatever.
Okay,
and then,
so
and that's about it for that one.
Was it meth or demon possession?
Did they
Yeah, I don't
find
know.
the light bulb he was smoking out of?
like that is a wild
Wow.
story.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
In any
And-
case, that is bonkers. This
Yeah.
one's this has been a wild cast.
It
folks.
has.
Yeah,
It
we've
has
been
been.
all over the place, but you know what?
There
I
have
wouldn't
been-
have it any other
There have
way,
been some
though.
highs. There have been some lows. But
There's some things that I'm gonna have to edit out, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
But we thank anybody who stuck with us throughout this one highly, and we will keep in mind that when we do an episode one day and then 2 days later we do another episode, it might not be our highest level of performance, but
in the future, we'll try and make it a little more regular if we can.
We're learning,
just,
folks.
We're doing our
just
best.
the way sometimes
Yeah.
things go down, and
That's
you
the
know
way
what?
the cookie crumbles.
We appreciate you guys sticking with us.
Yeah, we
we're gonna
through
be
all of it.
We might be good. We're gonna try to be good little theater dorks and be a little bit more off book in the future too.
Yeah.
But who's to say? We're busy boys, and we just want to bring you the best spooky content we can, and we just hope you loved it.
Yep.
We hope you loved it as much as we loved doing it, because make no mistake, we
love
had a
this.
damn good
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was a
it's
good time.
always a blast.
It really
Every
is.
single time we do this.
What can I say? I get to hang out with the boys. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's right. So before we go, I'm going to plug our social media, as I always do. If you do have any ghost stories, anything you want to talk us to talk about topic-wise, anything like that, please, please, please send us an email at doghostsbereal@gmail.com.
Please do. We love getting the emails.
You know what? You can follow us on TikTok. It's at Do Ghosts Be Real Podcast. And you can follow our Instagram at @do_ghosts_be_real. So follow us on that. I know it's a mouthful. I struggle saying it every single time.
Real period.
I laugh every time.
But hey,
Yeah, I really did a number on that shit. And you know what? You can find us on all kinds of audio platforms. If you're watching this, you can find us on Spotify, Google Play. Well, it's not Google Play anymore. It's like YouTube Music or something, and Google Podcasts.
Google Podcasts is where you'll find us.
And you still can't find us on Apple. Or maybe this is the future and you're listening on Apple. But at some point, we'll be on Apple.
That's some point.
And also, watch us on Shaw Spotlight at 10 p.m. Channel 10 in Saskatoon after Strip Down Live. Much love for Strip Down Live. I've been involved in that show for a long time. It's great. Watch that, then please watch us.
It's also not about porn, if you're wondering.
It is not. It is Saskatchewan's only 1 hour music show. It actually might. Yes. Yeah. Live music show.
Yeah, live music show.
I'm pretty sure that there is one other one, but it's not live. So anyway, it's been one hell of a time.
Yeah. Thanks for watching or listening.
Take care.
We love
have
you.
a beautiful day.